My name's Ian. I'm a site team leader for RES and I live in the beautiful County Donegal in Ireland. I like being up, I liked having that certain discipline to life, getting up, getting things done. 10 years ago, when I was a site technician, I was with a different company at the time. I was called onto a project of major component replacement. I was removing a rotor and I had been called in just to hold the tagline, and so I try and take out the knot, can't get it out. It goes on up. The rope's fairly loose at this time. We're kind of feeding it round, and then when the rotor comes tight, it pulls on the rope and it just gives me that little initial pull. Thought nothing of it at the time, worked away, and then slowly as time went on, possibly that evening, started thinking, something's not right here. I went to the gym that evening, went and worked through it. The next day I woke up, neck was really stiff. Driving to work, I was driving to intersections and couldn't turn my neck. I was kind of having to turn my whole body, and just proceeded on with work and thought, young fella at the time, I thought this will go away. This I'm indestructible. Went to physiotherapist. I was at chiropractors, and I wasn't really able to work this above my head. So it all came to a head, I suppose, when I went for my working at Hype Medical. The doctor brought me in, sat me down, she read through the form, she was like, "Oh, I see here you had a previous injury, a shoulder injury, tell me about that." I explained, how it had happened. She said to me at the time, she's like, "Did you get any time off work?" I was like, "No, this is just kind of worked on." She's like, I think you should have got time off work, let that heal. I think that's what the issue is." And then my line manager rang and he was like, "Ian, just letting you know what you feel, you're working at Hype Medical." I was like, "Oh, right. You're not allowed to work or drive any more than 15 minutes a day, lift any more than 5 kg, not do any tasks that involve lifting your hand above your head." But that basically wiped out my job. So they were just like, "You're going to have to stay at home, Ian." So I was like, "For how long?" Till we figure this thing out, essentially, how they figure out they were going to get my path back to work. So this went on for maybe 6 weeks, and I was getting listless at the house. I'm just not a person like sitting around, so I was kind of like, I need to get back to work. Everybody in my life was out at their day job during the day, and I was just sitting at home all day, and myself, me and my little dog Papa, we were just a little pug, just sitting there all day looking, "Do you want to go for a walk now?" When you're trying to fill those gaps. And in that whole time, it was going through my head and going, they're just going to be thinking, "Ian, you're becoming a burden nearly." And this wasn't entirely in my head. I was like, I look very unemployable here. What good am I to them as a wind turbine technician who can't climb, can't drive, can't do anything but sit in the house? So then went through the medical again with the original doctor. "How are you now, Ian? Was it good to have time off and heal?" "Yep, 100%. I am 100% fit to work. Look at this here. This is unbelievable." Passed, back to work. You never think about being injured because I'd never been injured up until then. And it took an injury to show me that I'm not indestructible. I'm actually very vulnerable here. If anything was to happen to me and I would just to lose my job, it would be just the start of pulling that thread that would let the whole thing fall apart. I wouldn't want to be off work again. It's not my nature to be sitting at home. I'll never put myself in that position again. Work smart, not hard. That's the message that I could give anybody. Work smart, not hard.